Hello, everybody. This is episode 47 of the Talking Friars podcast. I'm your host, Ben Fadden. This is one of the most painful days of the season. One of the most painful days in recent memory um, because it started off this afternoon with an amazing feeling. And then by tonight, it's the exact opposite. I don't even know where to start. Have I mentioned my name, Ben Fadden here? Jacob is working, so he's not with us, but needed to have a reaction here. Obviously, you know what this is about. Max Scherzer is going to the Los Angeles Dodgers in a trade with the Washington Nationals. He is waiving his no trade rights, the 10-5 rights, where you're a player for 10 years and you're with the same team, which he was with Washington for at least 5 straight years. So he has no trade clause. He can veto any trade he wants to and accept any trade he wants to. And the Nationals got a haul back, and Max Scherzer is a Dodger. I don't know where to start. The worst thing, and I don't know if it's the worst thing. Another thing about this that sucks is it's not just Max Scherzer going to the Dodgers. It's Trea Turner, all-star shortstop who has smashed the Padres this year. If you remember, he hit a home run at Petco Park, maybe a couple earlier this year in their series at Petco. This sucks. You go and, I can't even express how just almost like speechless I am from the turn of events that happened. Ken Rosenthal, okay? I love Ken Rosenthal. He is definitely someone that I trust. Blue check mark on everything. MLB Insider. He's on MLB Network all the time. I talked with him briefly at the winter meetings. He was number one on that list of MLB reporters, national reporters to trust. Ken Rosenthal was number one. There's no way you can put him number one now. There's no way that I will ever feel like Ken Rosenthal knows what he's talking about ever again. And you can call me biased because it's the Padres that he did this to, but I'm telling the truth. You cannot see a Ken Rosenthal tweet come up from now on and say, all right, this is happening. I'm not saying that he's not a good reporter anymore, but this is a huge hit. You know how no one respects Bob Nightingale anymore because of what he did to Mets fans, telling Mets fans earlier before the season, during the offseason, that they'd sign Trevor Bauer, and then he goes to the Dodgers. This is the same thing, but for us, for Padres fans. At 1:10 p.m., July 29, 2021, it seemed like the Padres season had totally took another turn for the positive. Max Scherzer, future Hall of Famer, was going to be in the brown and gold in a Padre uniform. Padres close to acquiring Max Scherzer, sources tell The Athletic, is what Ken Rosenthal tweeted at 1:10 p.m. This is just the screenshot that I had earlier today. Over 5,000 retweets, 8,500 quote tweets, and 26,000 likes. And that did not happen. Usually when a trade like this goes down, a big signing like this goes down, for example, Anthony Rizzo went to the Yankees earlier today. Jack Curry of the Yes Network in New York, he reported it. And then shortly thereafter, a bunch of reporters came and confirmed that. But here, Padres close to acquiring Max Scherzer, Ken Rosenthal says, and it's like Twitter goes dark the next 3 or 4 hours. Everyone's like, holy cow, myself included, Max Scherzer to the Padres. Ken Rosenthal's never wrong. What? And that didn't happen. Instead, it seems like Ken Rosenthal stabbed Padre fans in the back and said, you know what, Nationals? If you pay me, let me do you a favor. You pay me or something? Here, I'll leak this out so you guys can go to the Dodgers, go to the Giants, go to the Angels and say, here's your division rival, at least for the Dodgers point of view. Here's your division rival, your big, World Series contending, division rival. We have this package for Max Scherzer that we're going to get. Do you really want Max Scherzer facing you in a 1-game playoff at Dodger Stadium in the brown and gold? Do you? No, you don't. So you better up this package. That's why. So someone from the Nats organization said, you know what? We're going to screw with the Padres here. We are going to improve this offer as much as possible to obviously benefit their future. And props to the Nationals. They did that. Good for you. You totally just improved your offer. That's the best trade return that they were going to get for Max Scherzer and Trea Turner. Congratulations. But Ken Rosenthal absolutely sucks in Padre fans' brains now. You say that the Padres are close to acquiring Max Scherzer. I understand English. That didn't mean that they were acquiring him. But when you say breaking, all caps, Padres close to acquiring Max Scherzer, what that usually means is an agreement is in place. The Nationals wouldn't be fielding other offers from other teams. An agreement is in place. It's just finalizing contract money or, maybe a draft pick here and there. But the deal is in place and there is no more conversations going around the league. And that was not the case because Jeff Passan comes up 5:56 p.m. Pacific time, same date, July 29th, breaking all caps. The Dodgers are finalizing a deal to acquire star right-hander Max Scherzer and star shortstop Trea Turner from the Washington Nationals for a massive prospect haul. Sources tell ESPN the blockbuster of blockbusters is going to happen. What a flip of turn of events. What a just stupid turn of events if you're a Padres fan like myself. You have Ken Rosenthal saying the Padres are close to acquiring Max Scherzer, basically saying they're going to get him. Probably a deal is in place. And then hours later, no. He's not going to the Padres. He's going to their division rival who just pretty much took, Max Scherzer away from AJ Preller and just totally ruined every single Padre fan's night. You cannot script this. This night cannot go any worse than Padres get close to acquiring Scherzer. Oh my goodness. We're going to have him as our ace. And instead, now it totally flips to, nope. He's going not just to the Angels or another team. No, he's going to the Dodgers, your arch rival, and the team that is ahead of one of the two teams that is ahead of you in the standings, and the team that you absolutely hate the most out of anyone by far in Major League Baseball. It absolutely sucks. And for Dodger fans now on Twitter to be able to hang this over the Padre fans like myself, our heads, it sucks. There is no worse feeling than this right now. Max Scherzer, huge fan of his, Hall of Famer. He was, I'm a big Chris Paddock guy. People that are close to me know that. I've been called Chris Paddock's son, Chris Paddock Jr. around the ballpark. And after him, Max Scherzer was one of my favorite pitchers to watch. In fact, here's this. Here's the Max Scherzer shirt that I have that I was really excited to display, in my room to wear all over Petco Park because we were getting Max Scherzer. Ken Rosenthal, who was number one on my list as one of the reporters that I trust the most. And so here's this shirt that I'm showing to people that are watching on YouTube. Here is this shirt, okay? Max Scherzer, there's the eyes, okay? Huge Max Scherzer fan. And guess what? Now that can be thrown pretty much like in the garbage because he's arch enemy like number one right now. Because I'm not going to blame this on Max. I'm not saying that he denied the Padres and then accepted the Dodgers. That would have made it really worse. But he's arch enemy number one. It looked like I was going to go buy a Max Scherzer jersey tomorrow when I'm at Petco Park. And instead, now you cannot hate Max Scherzer anymore in this moment right now because he is on the Los Angeles freaking Dodgers and is going to likely, if the standings work out the same here, Dodgers number one seed in the wild card, Padres number two. He's going to be facing the Padres at Dodger Stadium in a winner-take-all wild card game. Now, I've seen on Twitter the Padre fans, they're trying to be optimistic, and I want to be. I want to be optimistic, saying that, oh, Max Scherzer hasn't done well against the Padres this year. Really, teams, making, or fans are just trying to make jokes about, really? You wanted a pitcher that gave a grand slam to a reliever? It's like, come on, guys. This guy's a Hall of Fame pitcher that one of the most reliable sources in Major League Baseball said was pretty much going to the Padres. The deal was close, meaning that terms were pretty much agreed to. The players were pretty much agreed to. And instead, he's going to the Padres' arch rival, division rival, the defending champion Dodgers, the team that AJ Preller probably was trying to avoid Max Scherzer going to at all costs, and it didn't happen. Now, I'm not mad at AJ Preller. I want to make that very clear. I have a trust in AJ Preller shirt. I love AJ Preller. I am not mad at him. And that's pretty much where we can move this conversation. The positives and negatives of this. The positives for the Padres in this trade is that maybe they can go get a Jose Barrios or a John Gray and not had to give up as much as the Dodgers had to, right? Another positive is the Padres being, close to a deal with Max Scherzer. They could, amp up that price for the Dodgers and say, you know what? The Nationals went to the Dodgers now and said, we have a pretty dang good deal here with the Padres. If the Padres, still keep that deal, you're going to have to up your offer, Andrew Friedman and the Dodgers. And so Preller essentially made the Dodgers give up their top two prospects and a couple more picks is what it seems like, according to all these reports. Josiah Gray, their top pitching prospect, he's going. Keibert Ruiz, their top position player prospect, a catcher, he's going. So the top two prospects for the Dodgers are gone. So you could spin that as a positive for the Padres. They're not going to have to see them. But with that said, that's pretty much the only positives here. The Padres still have the opportunity to get Barrios and John Gray, guys like that. But Danny Duffy's off the table. The Dodgers got him for a player to be named later. And obviously Max Scherzer is off the table. And he seemed like inches away from going to our San Diego Padres and being the ace and being one of the faces of this franchise alongside Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. And instead, he is wearing Dodger freaking blue. I still can't wrap my head around how just mind-numbing this is and how career damning this is for Ken Rosenthal. He is going to take a major hit. Bob Nightingale has a major hit now. Whenever he says something, every comment in that tweet is like, okay, here's the opposite what's going to happen, because that's not going to happen. He said Bauer to the Mets. Oh, he went to the Dodgers. So whatever he says isn't credible anymore. Rosenthal said Padres close to getting Max Scherzer. Breaking news, all caps. And then he goes to the Dodgers. I just can't believe that. I cannot believe that happened. The deal will be official once the medicals are cleared. Reporters are saying now. And I don't want to, before I get into the negatives of this, I don't want to skip out on the fact that they also have Trea Turner, and that sucks too. Corey Seager's dealt with injuries. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Trea Turner, an all-star shortstop, second best shortstop in the National League behind Fernando Tatis Jr. I don't think it's close. And he is a Dodger now. He's going to be their starting shortstop. He can move around at different positions. And now he's going to be a Dodger for at least this year and next year. He's a free agent after next season. So this sucks because Trea Turner is a very good player, used to be a Padre in the organization before they traded him to the Nationals in that three-way Myers deal. And now he's a Dodger, and he's going to continue terrorizing the Padres for this year, where they have, 9 more games against the 9 more games against the Dodgers this year, and all of next season. And I wouldn't expect Corey Seager to be back because there's no need for him now with Trea Turner in the fold. And Corey Seager, yeah, he played really well in October last year, but Trea Turner is a better player than Corey Seager is. And for him to be in a Dodger uniform, I get it. We have a great shortstop as well who's better than Trea Turner, but those two guys just almost cancel each other's out. Almost. Tatis is still better, but they almost cancel each other out for the things that they can do. Both are fast as heck. Both can hit for average. Both have pretty good glove. They're pretty good defensively. They have pretty good arms, both of them. Tatis probably a better arm, but both have good arms. So the Dodgers obviously got better here, and it's going to suck to see Trea Turner in a Dodger uniform for this year and next year. That's going to suck. But the big one obviously is Max Scherzer, because the Padres weren't going to get Trea Turner, but it looked like they were going to get Max Scherzer because of the tweet that Ken Rosenthal sent out a little after 1 o'clock today, saying that the Padres were close to acquiring Max Scherzer. Bleacher Report, obviously, with the big alert that came out, everyone. But that's the thing. Whenever a big trade happens, a bunch of reporters start echoing that same thing that, Jeff Passan said when this news went down, when the Dodgers and Nats were significantly, deep in talks for Turner and Scherzer to go to the Dodgers, Ruiz, Gray, and prospects to go to the Nats. That didn't happen when Ken Rosenthal reported it. So I was, on cloud 9 when Rosenthal reported it because of how much I believe in this guy. He's on MLB Network all the time. This guy, I saw him at the winter meetings. It's like, and he knows this. Your number one job as the reporter to get it right. And I think he didn't do that here. Now, maybe a source said to him that the Padres are close. The players are, in touch. The players are assembled in this trade. And maybe the source didn't say, well, the Nats are now going to use this against you and go to the Padres rival and say, here you go. You really want to face Max Scherzer on a 1-game playoff? Or do you want him in your uniform? If you want that, then you need to up the offer. And the Dodgers did that. So we won't know. Maybe Rosenthal says what a source told him, and tries to defend himself. I'm sure he will tomorrow during the deadline day or whatnot. But this is a bad look for him. And this sucks to be a Padre fan right now, because we have a great team, but our starting rotation absolutely needs help. There's no denying that. And to acquire a Hall of Fame starting pitcher, Max Scherzer, who's won Cy Youngs, started the All-Star game this year, to acquire him would have been just out of this world. The Padres literally had Eric Lauer starting on opening day a few years ago. And instead, flip, a few years down the line here, and now we would have had Max Scherzer in the brown and gold in a Padre uniform, with Yu Darvish starting the next day and Joe Musgrove starting the next day, and Fernando Tatis Jr. in the lineup, and Manny Machado in the lineup, and All-Star Adam Frazier in the lineup, and Trent Grisham in the lineup. That would have been amazing. And it just seemed like that a little after 1 o'clock, that was going to happen, and it didn't. And it sucked. It sucks still. And unless the Padres whoop Max Scherzer this year, they beat him in the wild card game or whatnot, or in the NLDS, or however the division shakes out, it is going to suck infinitely even more. Excuse me. It's going to suck even more because of how how Padres fans' hearts got ripped out because they were on cloud nine. And then they were on cloud -9, if that's a thing, because you see the guy that you should have had and looked like you were going to have based on Rosenthal's tweet going to your division rival. And he's probably going to sign an extension now. He's a Boras client, but Boras said earlier this year, Scott Boras, that he'll go to a team if an extension happens. And Trevor Bauer, in the deep stuff that he's in right now with sexual assault allegations, I don't think that there's anything that you can, imagine him not signing the extension. Trevor Bauer money can now go to Max Scherzer. And that sucks because we know that Max Scherzer is an amazing pitcher. You'll find out the Padres offense, somehow. Tatis has holes in his swing. We saw Manny go through slumps a little bit earlier in the year. Am I confident in the Padres offense? Yes. But there's no doubt that I would rather have, and everyone watching and listening this, unless you're a Dodger fan who just wants to laugh at Padre fans being miserable like I am right now, they know how much more they would rather have Scherzer in a Padre uniform than seeing him wear that Dodger stinking blue. So that sucks. I went through the positives. The Dodgers' top two prospects are gone now. They had to overpay because the Padres were close to acquiring Scherzer. Not to mention that they got Trea Turner as well. Another positive that they can still be in on Jose Berrios, John Gray, guys like that. Those Ian Kennedy, those opportunities, Kyle Gibson, those opportunities are still here, and they're not going to have to give up Mackenzie Gore and C.J. Abrams and Robert Hassel, which is the equivalent what the Nats got from the Dodgers. They got their top two prospects, so the Padres would have had to give up C.J. Abrams and Mackenzie Gore, or C.J. Abrams and Luis Campusano, or C.J. Abrams and Robert Hassel, or Mackenzie Gore and and Robert Hassel. Some of the combination, and they don't have to do that now. They have all of them still, and they're not going to have to give up as much for a possible Berrios trade or a John Gray trade, stuff like that. So that's the positive. But let's be clear, there's way more negatives in this than positives because Max Scherzer and all-star shortstop Trea Turner are in the division arch rivals uniforms. One of them is guaranteed to be here this year and next year. And the other is a Hall of Fame starting pitcher who's now the top ace in that rotation because he's better than Buehler and Kershaw right now. He just pitched 6 innings today, 1 run only. And he's not in a Padre uniform. That sucks. And that's the negatives. I mean, I'm just saying the negatives up here the whole time. Our heart got broken out. We're going to have to be seeing an all-star shortstop now in Trea Turner for a long time, the rest of this year, all of next year, at the top of the Dodgers order with Mookie Betts and Cody Bellinger and Justin Turner. All the Turners are going to the Dodgers, and that sucks. Those are the negatives. I've said it this whole podcast. The positives are, again, I'll mention it one more time quickly. They didn't have to give up a lot. They didn't give up top prospects. They made the Dodgers give up top prospects. And they won't have to give up as much for Jose Berrios or whoever. But with that said, now I do want to move to what Preller needs to do now. There is no doubt he needs to get Jose Berrios or John Gray or whatnot. There's no excuse now. The Dodgers made their moves. They got Danny Duffy, and they're thinking that he's going to be healthy at some point to add to a rotation with Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw, and Walker Buehler. They made their moves. They got a Hall of Fame starter. I'm not asking AJ and Josh Stein and Fred Ullman Jr. and the front office to go get a Hall of Fame starter because they're not available. Max Scherzer's essentially the only Hall of Fame starter that was available. But with that said, they do need to go get starting pitching because right now I would not trust Blake Snell with anything. I would not trust him to do anything on a Major League Baseball mound in October right now. I would not. I wouldn't be confident in Dinelson Lamet coming back, right? Being healthy. He's going to come back, but I wouldn't count on him being healthy. I can't count on Chris Paddock. I get he's pitched 2 good starts back to back. He grinded through that last start here in this last series against Oakland. But the Padres weren't confident enough to use him last year in a or an elimination game against the Dodgers. Instead, they elected to go to a bullpen game. So how can I expect the Padres to be confident in him this year when there's some times where he's admitted that he's not even confident on the mound? There's times where he's confident and then he's not confident. There's times where he's admitted that he's let the mental side of the game get to him. And that's a problem. If, you're going to have to rely on him to pitch in October in these, elimination games, especially how, deep this Dodgers rotation has been now. So they're, Ryan Weathers, he's dealing with a recent injury. Did he look good? Yeah, in his last start, but he's not a certainty. They probably have an innings limit on him, so he might be in the bullpen. Matt Strom is coming back, so I kind of view that as already a deadline addition to the bullpen because it looks like he's healthy. 2 scoreless innings in El Paso these couple rehab assignments, so everything's looking good on that front. But they need starting pitching. Darvish has looked shaky. Musgrove hasn't been as great he was in April. And after that, you can't trust Snell. You can't really trust Paddock until he keeps doing what he's doing. And then I'll maybe trust him. And Weathers has an innings limit maybe. Lamet injury questions. You can't guarantee his health. So it's troubling. It is troubling because they have a lot of games against the Giants and the Dodgers coming up. And they have these good games, easier games, it seems like, against the Rockies, the Diamondbacks, the Marlins, teams like that they need to capitalize on. And so it would help if they had some good frontline starters like a Jose Barrios on the roster, at least, at the very least, to compensate for Max Scherzer being on the Dodgers now. And every time I say that, it absolutely pains me to say because of the stupid tweet that I saw that said the Padres are close to acquiring Max Scherzer, and it seemed like all was well, and then it went totally upside down. So I don't know what else to say. Jose Barrios, again, is going to be the target that you're going to hear a lot of going into tomorrow. 1:00 p.m. Pacific time is the deadline. There's a game tonight at 7:10 against the Rockies, but that's, they got to win the game, obviously. Joe Musgrove on the mound. Hopefully he can look good. John Gray's projected to be starting for the Rockies tomorrow. Maybe he ends up walking across the Petco Park tunnel there from the visiting clubhouse to the home clubhouse. Who knows? But today was a very, very emotional and sucky day because of how close it looked like the Padres were to get one of my favorite pitchers of all time, a Hall of Fame starting pitcher. And in a matter of hours, not only did that not happen, but they go to the team that I absolutely hate the most and can't stand the most, and all Padre fans can't stand the most. So this absolutely sucks. And to go along with it, an all-star shortstop in Trea Turner, who the Padres used to have in their system, is also now going to be on the Dodgers, starting shortstop. So this sucks. Barrios and Gray or someone like that, Kyle Gibson, that would definitely lessen the blow, but none of them are of the caliber. None of them have the track record. No one's going to have a plaque in Cooperstown like Max Scherzer will have. And now the Padres will have to face him multiple times this year. We'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with Jacob, for a trade deadline reaction. Hopefully the Padres make some moves. But until then, the Padres did not get Max Scherzer. And instead they came up empty tonight, as it seems, as I'm recording this. So starting pitching is the goal. Until next time, let's go Padres, and hopefully we can get a win tonight. Ben Fadden here. So long.